Rivers State Governor Yunsum Wike hit at the PDP National Chairman, Senator Yocha Ayu, over the children comment attributed to him. And the electoral umpire, INEC, will in 20 days make public the details of the 2023 presidential contenders. We find out on the program. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimbaloye in Abuja. Let's begin tonight and we'll kick off with our countdown on the ASUU strike. The university lecturers have now been on strike away from the classroom for a total number of 201 days. They've shut the classrooms or decided not to go or down tools since February this year, after the talks with the federal government has hit the rocks. Recently, the president has asked the Minister of Education to ensure that the negotiation is done so that the lecturers will go back to the classroom. Since then, the students have been idle away from the classroom, and the standoff between the federal government has not had a concrete headway. Now, looking forward to a moment where the stakeholders will get their acts together and stop this nation from facing what has become a national embarrassment. Well, let's get straight to it. Some interesting stories on the political scene in Nigeria. It doesn't appear to me that the internal wranglings in the People's Democratic Party will fade away anytime soon. From what we reported yesterday on what the national chairman of the PDP said, that Senator Yocha Ayu, the Rivers State Governor, Yunsum Wike, has reacted to the national chairman slamming him for showing, quote, ingratitude and, quote, arrogance after he was assisted to get the seat of the national chairman of the party. Governor Wike challenged Senator Ayu to show himself as a man of honor and integrity by fulfilling his promise that he would vacate the chairmanship seat if the northern region produces the presidential candidate of the party. Take a listen to Governor Wike.
You were impeached as Senate President. You were sacked by Obasanjo in his administration 2 times. Arrogance cannot take you to anywhere. Now we are saying that you don't want the party to win election. We will help you. These children you say we are, these boys we are, that brought you from nothing. Nothing. I said from nothing. We brought you. You say you founded this party, but you left the party. You left the party in 2007. You founded a company. You left the company. People stood and brought out the company to what it is today. You have no moral right to still come and claim that you founded that party and that company. You left with your shares. Other shareholders have come in. I will do what my conscience tells me to do and what is right for our people. If not, it's only in Nigeria that you come and see people talk. A man that was impeached, a man that was sacked, a man that ran away from the party is now coming to say, I was the founding member of the party. Then you run away. Then those who struggle to make sure that the prodigal father came now see that the children had built the house. He asked the children, come on, people should go away. I was the builder of this house. Look at it.
That's Governor Yunsum Wike. Now, Mr. Wike is guest in Port Harcourt because he's continuing with a series of commissioning and flag-off of projects in Rivers. He's a member of the Board of Trustees of the PDP, who also has been speaking about the situation in the party. That is Chief Olabode George. He also had his own remark on the matter.
It is an antithesis and against the norm and culture of our party that our presidential candidate, our national chairman, and the chairman of the Board of Trustees will come from one section of the country. Party members from the South are already feeling alienated. PDP is not a private company. Before we start the presidential campaign at the end of this month, the national chairman must go to the South. This is all Governor Wike is saying. And as a life member of the Board of Trustees of our party, I support this position 100%.
That's Chief Bode George. Well, it looks to me that this is a developing story that we'll perhaps see more of it in the coming days. But there are some other stories across the nation, politically speaking. Let's allow you to check out some of your political roundup stories.
Presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, has been reacting to a media report that he was stoned and booed out of Kogi State by political thugs. The former governor was in Kogi State on Wednesday to inaugurate the state secretariat of his party, but it was widely reported that the NNPP presidential flag bearer was booed in Kogi State during his brief visit.
He decided to sit down just in front of this door to write the story and sent out, and nothing happened.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission today arrested the Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Olakunle Oluomo. He was arrested around 9 a.m. on Thursday at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Meanwhile, the Ogun State House of Assembly remains calm after the arrest of the Speaker, but the gate leading to the Assembly complex remained closed as men of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps manned the entrance gate. Entrance to the area was restricted as visitors in and outside the complex were turned back. Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State says campaigns for the 2023 general elections will be issues-based. Governor Umahi made this remark during the swearing-in of elected council officials and the flag-off of the State Empowerment Program in Abakaliki, the state capital. Taraba State Governor Darius Ishaku has read the Riot Act to the newly inaugurated Caretaker Committee chairman in the state to ensure that the maintenance of peace in their domains remains a top priority, as they are the first line of the state's defense. The governor at an event in Jalingo, the state capital, the governor also swore in 7 new commissioners, instructing that none of them should derail from the developmental template of the state or advance their political ambitions for selfish gains.
Let me caution the new CTC chairman not to use this opportunity to advance their political ambitions by ignoring the crucial tasks assigned to them.
The Deputy National Women Leader of the All Progressives Congress, Mrs. Zainab Ibrahim, says women will decide the next president of the country come 2023 due to their large voting population. Speaking at a prayer meeting for the country, Mrs. Zainab notes that women across the country will be mobilized en masse to vote for candidates of the party in the 2023 general election.
Women are going to determine who becomes the next president and other offices of this country.
Ahead of the 2023 general election, the Labour Party has inaugurated an 11-man diaspora committee to steer its diaspora activities and ensure inclusiveness of members of the party outside the country. While applauding Nigerians for the political participation and clamor for change, the national chairman of the party, Julius Aburi, says the committee was set up due to constant complaints by Nigerians in diaspora of not being able to contribute to the party's activities. And the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Gombe State, Mr. Mohammed Barde, is accusing the state government of victimization and executive high-handedness. This is coming after a recent attack and the latest demolition of his campaign office in the state capital, allegedly by the Gombe State Urban Planning Development Authority.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So if you need to settle down quickly so that we get the conversation started, try as much as possible to do so because we're getting started just about now. But just a moment before we get into the conversation with my first guest on the program. INEC, that is the Independent National Electoral Commission, says it will publish the final list of presidential and National Assembly candidates on September 20 this year. And chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, was a guest at a meeting organized by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, in Abuja, where he said the final list for governorship and state assembly candidates is expected to also be published on the 4th of October. Take a listen to the INEC national chairman.
Activities towards the 2023 general election will enter the next critical stages, beginning actually from today, September. In the next 19 days, that is on the 20th of September 2022, the Commission will publish the final list of candidates for national elections, presidential candidates and their running mates, senatorial candidates, and candidates for federal constituencies, that is House of Representatives, as provided by Section 32, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022. This will be followed on 4th October 2022 by the publication of the final list of candidates for state elections, governorship and state houses of assembly elections. Campaign in public by political parties will officially commence on the 20th of September 2022 as provided by Section 94(1) of the Electoral Act 2022.
All right, you heard the INEC chairman reiterating the INEC timetable and schedule of activities ahead of the election. Let's get straight to it. The past weeks have seen a lot of overtures. The All Progressives Congress APC as a ruling party has everything to lose. As a party in government, of course, and we try to hold on to power, although the sitting President Muhammadu Buhari will not be seeking a re-election by that time in 2023 because he would have completed a statutory maximum number of years allowed by law for anyone to be in that seat. Recently, we have seen the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, visiting the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. And before then, he had also gone to Abeokuta in Ogun State to confer with the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. Tinubu's consultation has also taken him into Mena State in Niger State. But what are the reasons for these meetings, especially for people who have clear affiliation other than that of Mr. Tinubu? A few days ago, President Buhari met with some APC governors. And in that meeting, much of the details of that meeting was not known. But the president has made it clear that he will not rig for anyone, not even members of his own party. And the fact that he will ensure that the election counts. And also that he will work, though, for APC candidates. Well, one of those who were part of the meeting of the APC governors at the presidential villa joins us tonight to get us insight into what was discussed and perhaps the perspective of the APC in the race ahead of 2023. I'm being joined by the executive governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Abdullah Sule. He joins us live from Lafia. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. Perhaps a good way to begin is to give us an insight into what President Buhari and your colleagues governors discussed at the presidential villa.
Thank you very much, Sheun. I think first and foremost, even though I'm not the spokesperson of the governors, the governor of KB is, but when you want to know probably what was discussed, since I happened to be there, you know, it was a courtesy call that the governors of APC decided to pay Mr. President in order to show appreciation to him, you know, for everything that he had done so far. One, accepting to be the chairman of the campaign of our presidential candidate, and also to thank him for accepting the DG of the campaign, you know, that is the governor of Plateau State, you know, Barrister Lalong, you know, to be the DG, as well as most of the other members. So the president has agreed, you know, to lead the campaign in that era. So the governors felt it was necessary to go and discuss with him and then be able to hear from him, you know, his line of thoughts. And that's what the meeting was mostly all about. And like you reported, you know, we didn't expect the president to say anything different from what he has always said. He always said that he believes in democracy and he will continue to support democracy. And he has seen it all. He has seen a situation in Anambra where another party won. He saw also the situation in Ekiti where our party won. And he saw another situation in Osun where another party won. And in this case, all the three different states had different political parties altogether. And he mentioned that that's what democracy is all about. So the moment people say this is the direction they want to go, that he will support the direction of the people. And that's all he said, so, and I exactly just the same way he reported.
In that visit, Governor Sule, does it appear to the president, because a guest of mine yesterday said that there is anger in some Nigerians, some of them who feel passionate and emotional about the state of the economy, the state of security in the land, and they are going to show it in 2023 election. Does the president, perhaps at some point in that meeting, reflect that kind of the mood of the nation and a possibility of impact on the chances of your party at the polls?
Well, the president is more familiar with what is happening in the nation than I do, for sure. And I believe the president listens to what is happening in the country and he reacts with that. When you talk about issues of economy, when you talk about issues of security, when you talk about issues of everything that is going on in the country, I think the president usually has first-hand information, because he receives information on security from the security agencies. He receives information from the central bank. He receives information from the NMPC and all the other sources of the economy. He receives information from his various ministers about what is happening in the country. And of course, he receives information from all the governors about what is happening in our various states. So he's very familiar with what is happening, but the president is also not sleeping. He's constantly, reviewing what is happening in the country, and he's constantly also talking to people, and he's trying to solve one problem or the other for the country.
So, the reason why I asked that question is the impact that will have, because if you ask some Nigerians, especially some people maybe in your states that have been affected by the insecurity that we have been experiencing in some part of Abuja, part of Nasarawa, part of Gombe, part of Niger, part of Kwara, will perhaps be imagining how or what the APC will be telling Nigerians when they get to the campaign podium in 2023. Is that realization done in the room with the APC governance when you had that meeting? Is that reflection vivid?
Well, the fact is there has never been any election in the history of Nigeria where there are no challenges. There are issues about challenges for every election that we ever had. And most of these other issues you mentioned, in most cases we're always there. It is the moment there is election is coming much closer, you will continue to hear that. You are saying that a lot of Nigerians are saying that, yes, they are going to show APC something in 2023. There are so many millions of Nigerians also that are saying the opposite because of what they have experienced. And a good example is what you are saying, for instance, right now in the area of security, for instance. While the northwest part of the country and most of the north central part of the country will be complaining about what is happening today, and the government is doing the best that it's doing at the moment, but the people from the Northeast will be celebrating based on what they inherited, what this president inherited and what he has done. So the same thing with the economy, one section of the country will be having difficulties. Economic situation challenges are worldwide, that you are seeing. So it's not just it's not just in Nigeria, it is actually everywhere around the world. When you talk about issues of challenges, you go to Europe, you go to North America, you go to South America, you go to Australia, every country in the world is facing one challenge or the other, but the country has not collapsed just because we are facing challenges. So the God Almighty has given the president and the government, of the various states also, the wisdom, to see how we can overcome some of those challenges. And that's what we have been doing.
Well, so the question here, Governor, is the role of government and politicians who have the mandate to steer the affairs of the country or the state, as the case may be. The critical question here is whether or not the acceptance of your party, and in any case, we're seeing that happening, the consultations that your presidential candidate is having. Now, this is one of the criticism coming over that consultation is those who believe that it is a matter of jitter, that there is the fear, maybe, of acceptance across the divide, either ethnic, religion, or across the ocean in the country of your party, of your presidential candidate, based on the performance of your party, based on what it promised Nigerians and what it has delivered, at least in over 7 years that he's been in power. Now, in the conversation with your presidential candidate and other people, the former president, could it be, I mean, for those who say it's jitter, how would you react to that?
I think they have forgotten the history of what election is all about. And they don't also give respect, actually, to some of these leaders that are being visited. These leaders you are talking about, every one of the presidential candidates has visited them. The Labour Party has visited President Obasanjo. You know, they visited General Babangida, they visited Abdul Salami Abubakar. Well, President Obasanjo recently visited Abubakar. He's not even in the election. You know, he visited some of those same leaders you are talking about. Now, if you are talking of ASUU Bola Tinubu, you know, he was a governor when President Obasanjo was actually a president. And he had close working relationship with every one of these three people you are talking about. So if he visits them, it's not jitter. You know, every one of these other people that you are talking about, of these candidates, they visit them. They visit them to discuss several issues about the country. We are all worried about the country. We need to have a country first before we can have leaders. You know, so they are all worried about the country. They hear from them, they guide them, and at the end of the day, we are going to have a president, and whoever is the president is that we are going to have. This president needs guidance and advice, and from all these people because of their experience. You know, so I don't see any jitter in it. I think I see a true politician that believes in the politics of this country, that respects our leaders, and it visits our leaders to hear from them. And I think that's the right thing to do.
Perhaps one of the moral questions that have been raised here is when you have established a political enemy, you have established a political opponent, someone you have spoken strongly against in the past years. So the question is, what has changed? And when you start going and visiting some of these people that you have obviously have differences with, politically speaking, now seeking office, and you're being seen at their doorstep, knocking on their doors, for those who are watching on the sidelines, will have to interpret it the way they see it. So for your party, and perhaps for those who are criticizing today about the visitation and the knocking on the doors of perceived political enemies, what moral lesson can one take away from that from the perspective of the APC?
The moral lesson is very easy, Sheun. It tells you that in politics, you don't have permanent friends and you don't have permanent enemies. We have seen that over and over and over. We have seen people who have crossed over from one political party or the other. We have seen people who have sworn that they will never, ever leave certain political parties and they left. We have seen other people who claim they will never, ever go back to certain political parties and they have been. So I think in politics, from what you can see, we have seen people who say they will never work with certain people and they are working with those people today. You know, so that tells you there is nothing wrong with what they are doing.
So does it mean, Governor, apologies, does it mean, Governor, that Nigerians should not believe politicians for what they say? Whatever politicians say, you should just take it for the face value. You can never believe what politicians say. When they call enemies, tomorrow becomes friends. No one is saying that you should have permanent enemies, but if you have philosophical and ideological differences, people, then because you're seeking office, then you start knocking on their doors. Should we ever believe what politicians say?
Yeah, I don't believe we had somebody like ASUU Bola Tinubu that sworn. He has sworn enemy in Obasanjo. He has sworn enemy in Abdul Salami Abubakar. He has sworn enemy in people like Babangida. I don't think he has sworn at any time. I'm yet to see that he has sworn that they are his enemies and he will never ever work with them. You know,
I'm talking about ideological differences. I mean, if you have ideological differences politically, especially on politics and ideas that you have not aligned with people, and then on the same platform of politics, you are then realigning with them because of the sake of seeking office. So it then brings, because politics basically is the ability to convince the voter that you have a trustworthy ideology and philosophy that they can tap into. So this is a fundamental moral question that is being raised.
Yes, and that is an excellent question, and it has an excellent answer. The idea is that just because you have different ideologies with certain people doesn't mean that they don't have ideas to share with you for the benefit of the country. These people are Nigerians. These people were former leaders of this country. These people have seen it all. They were there when Nigeria was at war. They were there when Nigeria was at peace. And these people can share ideas about the future of the country. So you go in to take. Not everything they have said. ASUU Bola Tinubu has not gone to any of these people to say, my own ideology is bad. I'm throwing it away. Give me your ideology. I don't think he said that. He has visited these people to hear from them, their views about what is in there for the country. And I think that's the right way. That's what a good leader should do. He has not said that I have a bad ideology, I don't need it, give me your ideology. He hasn't said that anywhere. That's the way that you have to look at it. People sit on the sidelines and they are just forming these ideas. What is Babangida's ideology? What is Asuaju's ideology that are different today when it comes to area of security, for instance? This is the point. And I think that's the question. That is the way to go, Sheun.
Because I know, you are an engineer, you're a scientist fundamentally, so you have a very critical view about issues and analytical perception of issues. So my last question for you, Governor Sule, would be the state of the race right now. If you look at it, for those, usually our elections have always been a two-horse race, our presidential election. But this time around, there are those who believe that it's not going to be so. Perhaps, in fact, the ruling APC, that is the sitting party, will have a tough time in this election, more than we have ever seen a ruling party having a Tory time at any election in the side of the continent. Now, what do you see from where you're standing? Where you're sitting, you're not standing actually, where you're sitting. And the question I'd like to ask you is also on a question of telling Nigerians the truth tonight about the state of affairs and, morally speaking, what the APC will be telling Nigerians. Do you see this as a three-horse race? Do you see the angry Nigerians voting against your party? Or what exactly do you see?
You see, Sheun, is so early to tell all these things you are saying. The campaigns have not even started. Okay, we are yet to see people out there sharing ideas. We are yet to see the kind of campaign that is going to come. Are people going to be attacking personalities, or are people going to be talking about issues? We have not seen that yet. The issues so far that you are seeing, that people mostly in the social media, the angry people and the happy people, the same way you have angry people, you also have very happy people. So you have these people who are angry, you have people who are happy. You have seen everywhere Tinubu has gone so far, the way he is received. So definitely those kind of people may not belong to the category of your angry people that you are talking about. And then when you go to some other places, earlier on before we started this discussion, I saw one of the presidential candidates that was earlier reported. He went to one state where he was actually booed. And now he said he was not booed. We just had that right now. So Tinubu has not gone anywhere where he has been booed, for instance. Tinubu has not gone anywhere where anybody had thrown stones at him and things like that. So where are these angry people at? So I think these angry people is an imagination, is a perception, and so far we have not even started the campaign yet. So it is too early for anybody to tell you, anybody who is going to tell you, this person is going to win, this person is going to lose, this person is going to win, then he must be talking about another country, not Nigeria. Because so far, the campaign has not even defined a direction yet. This is my understanding of it.
All right, Governor Sule, I'm just mirroring what exactly is happening in the society. You know, some of us are closer to them than some of you who are in government. But thank you so much, Governor Sule. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Indeed.
That is what you think, Shehu. We are very close with the people. You are in Abuja, you are in Lagos.
I'm a man of the people. You never can tell, Governor Sule.
I'm here in the creeks. I'm going from one village to another.
In the trenches,
you walking down in one village, I'm there. So which people are you close to that I'm not close to?
I'm a journalist that reports what the people say. So I'm very close to the people.
I'm one of the governors that stay more in my state than anywhere else. And I'm right here in the creeks, and I'm going from Karu down to Mararaba tomorrow. I'm actually in Akwanga, I'm in Wamba, I'm just everywhere.
By the way, how is the security in your state now?
You will tell me the creeks, then I will tell you mine.
How is the security in your state? Things are better now, is it?
You say what?
The security in your state, are things better now?
No, the security situation in our state, we are very happy. We are a state that is relatively peaceful. Yes, you will always have maybe one kidnap or the other, one issue here or the other, but I think everybody so far, we have not had today. I have had people that came all the way from China. I had people that came from Hungary. They didn't fly to Latvia, they drove. And then we had that. So I think we're a state that we're very, very thankful to the Almighty God. We're thankful to the federal government for the support. We're thankful to our people. So we're relatively peaceful. And we see more investments coming in.
Thank you. We wish you and the people of Nasarawa State the very best. Thank you so much, Governor Abdullahi Sule, Governor of Nasarawa State, for your thoughts there.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. We'll take a break, everyone, and when we return, our attention will be on the People's Democratic Party, precisely on the defection of Senator Shekarau. Senator Shekarau will left NNPP for the PDP. He's my next guest on the program. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. A few days ago, a former Kano State governor and sitting senator from the state dumped the NNPP for the PDP. The People's Democratic Party on Monday welcomed him back to its fold after he had been in the new Nigeria's People's Party for about 3 months. Senator Shekarau had, in May 2022, parted ways with the Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, and dumped the All Progressives Congress for the NNPP, taking hundreds of his supporters with him. Since his defection, there have been reactions to his decision. And tonight, we'll be hearing from Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, a former governor of Kano State, who is live for us in our Kano studio. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. All right. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Let's begin by asking you tonight, what prompted your dumping of NNPP, a party that you moved into 3 months ago?
Well, thank you very much, Sheun. It's quite a pleasure being here. Before giving you the details of the reason, I probably need to remind you and probably our listeners and whoever cares to be following up our trend of political activities. Our principles or ideology, if you like, I and all my political associates, is the protection of our integrity, protection of our name and image. And the characteristics of the protection of this integrity, being sincere, being honest, being very frank and transparent, and this is there must be a mutual trust. This was what led us into NNPP. Before our declaration, I had many times discussed with my friend and brother, Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso. We had some very good understanding, and we felt that we can move forward to promote the political stability in our state and, of course, in the Federation. We joined the party on the 18th of May, and long before then, almost 2 weeks earlier on, through my discussion with him, we made our proposals. At that time, it was a period of generating candidates for the various political office to be contested in the 2023 general elections, State Assembly, National Assembly, governorship, and the senatorial seats. We made our proposals as a group, as a movement, together with all my political associates, and we sat down with Rabiu Konkoso. I submitted this proposal. He accepted it, and he said, okay, in about 1 or 2, 3 days, he's going to prepare his own proposals, and then I, together with him, will sit down to sort ourselves out and harmonize and see what we can do to produce electable people in our various constituencies. He and I haven't governed Kano. We sufficiently know all the constituencies, and we virtually know all the key players, regardless of whichever party they belong in each of the constituencies. So I felt it wasn't anything of a big deal to sit down and identify people from his camp and from our camp who are electable, who is to contest this and that. And we kept on waiting. I submitted this to him on the 5th of May, and by 11th of May, I reminded him. Meanwhile, our own movement has taken a decision that we were going to leave APC for obvious reasons that have been articulated, very well articulated out, and virtually anybody in APC knows how far we've gone in identifying all the causes that led to leaving the APC. This hope and trust and sincerity kept us moving up to the 18th of May, when we had a public declaration, and Konkoso came with all his own political associates. It was a very big ceremony. It was at that meeting that he brought the senatorial seat of Kano Central form and presented it to me. He said, I was the first to receive the form. At that time, as at 18th of May, no any other candidate has been identified or listed or given form through the various discussions that we agreed to make. The same 18th of May, by the night, midnight, we saw a list released by the party leadership in the state, handwritten list of candidates by their constituencies and indicating as having solved the entire constituencies candidates. In fact, in the list released on the 18th by the night, even some constituencies had no name. The following morning, I met him and I challenged the list released. We said this is unacceptable because in the entire list, except my name, no any other name from our own movement, from our own political association was reflected on the list. And through my discussion with him on the 19th of May, we agreed to set up a joint committee of 8 people, 4 from his side, 4 from my side, to go and harmonize my proposal and his proposal, the list released. And the state chairman was added to them. That made 9 members of the committee. This committee kept working from the 22nd of May, when the committee was inaugurated by myself, on behalf of the 2 of us, and they kept working. The chairman of the committee was our gubernatorial candidate, that is Abba Kabir Yusuf, and the secretary was coming from my side too. The chairman kept dragging the assignment. This was an assignment that we gave him 3 days to do. For 3 months, this kept dragging. I kept reminding him to call his own member, his own associate, the chairman of the committee, to call him to order that INEC will soon close up receiving of forms. The closing date expired. Then we went through the substitution period. The committee claimed to still be working. The committee produced its report in early August, and I took the report. The 9 of them signed a report recommending some seats of House of Representatives for our own people and some seats for the State Assembly. I met him. We agreed with the report. We endorsed the report. He himself put a call to the chairman of the committee, Abba Kabir Yusuf, and opened it up. We opened the speaker phone. Both of us addressed the chairman of the committee. We said, we agree with this report you have produced and signed by 9 of you. 4 from the Konkoso, 4 from myself, and the state chairman making 9. They've all agreed to this. We directed them, go and implement this report. We give you not less than 3 days to go and implement this report. Unfortunately, again, the chairman of the committee failed to convene a meeting of the committee to go and implement the report up to the 12th of August. And nothing was done. And by 12th of August, all the doors has been shut by INEC. There is no way you can make any substitution either at the state level or the national level. And we convened a meeting. I had to call a meeting of my political associates to brief them as to what we went through for 3 months. And we set up a committee of 30 to go and review the situation. We still did not make it public. But to our surprise, few days later, my brother Rabiu Konkoso was on air on the House service of the BBC saying that there was no way we could be attended to because we joined the party very lately, when it was too late. I said, which late? A party we joined on the 18th of May when candidates were still being sorted out. Primaries were still on. Even my own primary had not been held.
All right.
So
Your Excellency,
I can't see how you tell us this.
So fundamentally,
so
with what you have explained, would you say that you were betrayed by Senator Kwankwaso?
I think that is the least you can call it. Betrayal and outright disregard, outright manipulation. And we felt that, I've told you earlier on, our principle, our guiding principles, all my political associates, this is known to everyone, is the protection of our image, the protection of our name, the protection of our integrity. And there is you cannot have the integrity protected if there is not going to be sincerity, if there is not going to be trust and truth.
All right.
The question we asked him, Sheun, was, if you knew we were late, that we came in late. We came in on the 18th of May. And you are saying when we came, we were late. Did you know we were late? You still agreed that a committee be set up? The idea of the committee even came from him. If you are not being deceitful, why did you allow us to set up a committee, the committee working for 3 months, and yet, in the end, you are telling us nothing was done because we came in late? And everybody knows, by the 18th of May, NNPP had not filed in even a single name to INEC as a contestant in any position throughout the federation.
All right, so
then why are you telling us?
So there have been reactions to your decision. Senator Kwankwaso has been quoted to have said that it will be injustice, morally wrong to ask people to step down for Senator Shekarau. But also, reaction coming from NNPP is that you're not a disciplined politician, quoting or citing the fact that since 2018, when you left the PDP, up until now, you've crossed, just in 5 years, you moved from the PDP to the APC, APC to the NNPP, and back to the PDP. And the criticism coming from NNPP is that you're not a disciplined politician for these switches that you have made in 5 years.
I think, Sheun, that is most unfortunate and mischievous. If it had been my character to do all that because of my personal interest, ask any average man in Kano, they would tell you the crowd, the people wouldn't have been coming along with us if it was something selfish, if it was something that is just for personal interest. Anytime we leave, we have a structure throughout, from the unit to the ward to the local government to the state. Ask any average man in Kano. Our politics had been a politics of consultation, very wide consultation. There was no decision that I've ever taken politically without taking a referendum across the state of all the structure of our political associates and telling them of the problem. I never came out of my house to say, let's go A, let's go B. We set out our issues, if there are issues, if there are complaints, and we pass all of this through the structural setup we have. I'm sure you must have heard of the Shura movement that we have. That is our consultative structure. In every ward of 484 wards in Kano, we have a minimum of 100 members of the Shura Assembly. We have the same at the local government. We have at the state level a 172 consultative forum. We have a Shura Council of about 50, and then we have the management at the top, about 17. There was no one single political decision I took without going through all of these structures. We send people to consult, and it is the people. We do bottom-up decision. It is the people that tell us, look, in view of all of this, A, B, C, D, this is what we need to do. Go and check the records. Ask any average person in Kano. If we had been selfish, but if it had been because of any particular strategy, the crowd, see the crowd, we have never had any hired crowd. I haven't the money to even give out. We don't buy the support. We don't buy conscience of the people. People follow up because they believe on what we stand for.
But Senator, if I may quickly jump in, the Shura, your supporters and your followers, how does it compare to the Kwankwansia movement or the Kwankwansia members and supporters of the Senator Kwankwanso in Kano State? For those who support Senator Kwankwanso, they say, look, there isn't any movement as big as the Kwankwansia movement.
Well, I think, Sheun, it is most unfair for me to make that assessment. It's an assessment by people like you, people on the street. Go and ask Kano people. It is Kano people that will tell you who has the greatest followership. I don't bother what followership anybody has. My concern is I have my own principles. I have my own guiding principles, and people believe it. Right from the time I joined policies in 2002, we have maintained this. That's why I said, ask any average man, including our own opposition people. They will be sincere to tell you exactly what we've been doing. I've never been a low ranger that will just carry my bag. I'm not a dictatorship in my principles, in my political activities, and we always ask the people. And politics is about people, Sheun. If your people that have been with you, they believe in what you stand for, and you share with them the problems that are out for all of us, it's not about me. You can imagine, Sheun, I throwing away my senatorial quantities in NNPP in the interest of the entire followership that we have. If it was about me, I would have remained in NNPP. Ask anybody in Kano, it was almost a sure banker winning. In fact, in 2019, Sheun, the records are there. I had the largest number of votes of all the 109 senators in Nigeria. My votes were not only for APC votes. It is cutting across. We served the people for 8 years, and Kano people know about it, and they are ready to vote anytime.
Senator, let me jump in again quickly. Now, this is your new switch, or this is your new decision to go to the PDP. What promise or what assurances did you get from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the PDP?
There wasn't any promise, any assurances, except assurances of being fair, assurances of being sincere and trustworthy with the associates that we have. That's all we're looking for. Anywhere we move, I always said two things are our guiding principles. What kind of people are you interacting with? What kind of interactions are you promoting? And through our interaction with the PDP, we were satisfied. We came back, we asked this structure of our constituency, structure of our structures in all the levels of the state. 484 wards, 44 local governments at the state level. We went through all of this. We have a documented record. There is nothing we do just on the air. I formed a 30-member committee of the Shura Assembly, and the 30-member committee wrote out all of the grievances, the insincerity we have experienced in NNPP, and we asked them to advise us. And the advice was, well, let's commence discussion with the PDP. I was satisfied. There wasn't any problem.
Why was the choice of PDP? Was Atiku Abubakar an inspiration to your rejoining PDP? Why the choice of the PDP for the Shura?
No. I said we had discussion with the leadership of the PDP. Atiku Abubakar is part of the leadership of the PDP. So PDP is not a one-man show. It's not about Atiku Abubakar. It's about a complete movement of an association of people that agree to work together. And we discussed together. We had discussion. We didn't have to have any promises. Ask anybody of our associates and ask the parties that I had left before if at any time we went to any party with any insistence of any promises. Our promises we ask of, and we always ensure that it is, look, everything will be dealt with sincerity, transparently, and the mutual trust. I believe we don't have to sit down, what position you will give me, what position you will give ABC. That is not part of my character.
I mean, in return,
Senator, so there wasn't any promise.
All right. In return, did you make any promise? Because you wouldn't have gone to PDP, or PDP would not have welcomed you if there are no assurances of winning Kano. Did you tell them that you are capable of winning Kano for the PDP, and how would you do that if you made that kind of promise?
Well, I think, Sheun, people say action speaks louder than voice. PDP knows our standing in Kano. They know my followership is open to anybody. So I didn't have to tell PDP I will bring many votes. I will make sure you're elected. They know.
But would you be able to secure the votes for the PDP senator, considering that one of your own, son of Kano, Senator Kwankwanso, is from Kano State? What would you be telling the people of Kano to vote for an Atiku who is a member of your party as against their own son, Senator Kwankwanso?
Well, the issue is that, if I may sound a little immodest, people of Kano trust what we say. We will tell them, I will tell them what we told them some 20 years ago. I will tell them what I told them 2019 when I was contesting the senatorial seat under APC. Everybody knows. And if you check the records back, when we were being welcomed into APC in 2018, the governor of Kano, Ganduje, was at the stadium saying, we are begging you to come with all the thousands of hundreds of your supporters. So even himself, the governor of Kano, knows I wasn't alone. I don't move alone. We have all the hundreds of thousands.
Because we need to wrap up, sir. So I
didn't have to give any promise.
Yes, sir. Apologies. Yes. Two short questions because we have just about 60 seconds to close the program. Now, just how much votes can you guarantee, can you tell Nigerians that Shekarau and the Shura mobilization or the Shura community within your political formation in Kano can give to PDP? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I assure you, by God's grace, knowing the trust and the belief of Kano on our integrity and what we stand for, we will be telling them, we will be guiding them, telling them that they should vote for PDP. I assure you, PDP will clear the votes in Kano, if not all, great majority. I assure you, because I know what people want. People know what we stand for. We don't tell them bogus promises and breaking promises. I don't want to say this myself. Call anybody from Kano, put him at the stage and ask him.
All right. On a final note, Your Excellency.
I'm confident. I'm confident that we're going to bring the largest of the votes, I assure you, by the grace of God.
So you're saying that Atiku will win Kano. That's what you're saying. On a final
by the
note,
grace of God. Inshallah, Atiku will win Kano.
Okay. In 30 seconds, if you may, please, for those who would describe your switching as some kind of going from frying pan to fire, considering the internal wranglings in the PDP, what's your view about the situation in the PDP between Governor Wike and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's camp?
Well, I think I have been reading of these disagreements or whatever you call it. By the grace of God, I've known Wike, and I've known him to be a team player. He was my Minister of State when I was Minister of Education. So Wike is nothing new to me. Atiku is not new to me. I'm sure I will be part of all the efforts other elders have been making in the party. We want a very peaceful election, peaceful party machinery to carry everybody along. I don't intend to claim that I have all the answers, but I'll be reading. Now that I'm part of the family, I will go all out to find out what exactly are the problems. And I'm sure Wike, as my junior brother, and Atiku, as my elder brother, I'm sure I will join hands with well-wishers in the party and be part of brokering peace in the PDP, by the grace of God.
Thank you so much, Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, who has recently, although we are in the rainy season, and has gone to found out his umbrella and the red color and white of the PDP and rejoined his folks there in that party. And we wish you the very best in the coming days. Thank you so much.
I promise you an umbrella. I promise you an umbrella, Shehu, a very beautiful one.
I have one, though it's black, like the color of my jacket. Thank you so much, Senator, for coming tonight. Well,
thank you very much.
So for our show for tonight, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. Bye for now.